okay with that. Hey guys, we're up in about 5 seconds here. 5 seconds. Here we go.
¿Por qué tú hacer una casa de México? That's
Uno cerveza, por favor.
Oh, that is Tom Ruminski ordering a beer, by the way, as we are live now. And, he's stunning us with his knowledge of some Spanish here.
I was gonna say.
It would be like the locals would be saying, "Are you talked to that guy before?" Yeah, always ask for cold beer. That's all he say. Can I have a cold beer? Can I have a cold beer? I don't like him. So you might need to learn. Well, actually, if you're Charlie Montoyo, what are you saying to your team today? Could you say it in Spanish, Tom Ruminski? And by the way, you can't say something. You can't say something like "let's win." Okay, that doesn't count.
No, I'm going to say bueno as in good, because that was a hell of a win by the Blue Jays last night. And it just got to keep the good times rolling, because every contest is a must win right now.
Yeah.
Especially with all the other teams in this crazy AL wildcard race also winning at the same time.
It is so weird that we've had a very similar conversation for the last several weeks, and we talk about the Yankees and the Bo Sox. And it's just kind of weird as we're talking about this. It reminds me of like standing in line at the LCBO, and I'm sitting there, and let's say Dave and I are waiting, and just before we get to the cashier, because we've been waiting so long, Seattle butts in line. Hey, how'd they get to the cashier first? They're in front of us. Where the hell did this come from?
They are quite the statistical anomaly. If you look at their run differential, they're a minus 48. That is basically right there with the Colorado Rockies, a club that has 73 wins. The Mariners have 89 wins. Like what they're doing is absolutely incredible. Now, by beating the Athletics last night, they have won 10 of their last 11. Basically, the MO of this team throughout the entire season has been winning really close, tight games. They got a good bullpen, and then they just get thrashed. Like their one loss in their past 11 was by like 13 runs against the Los Angeles Angels, who they are playing to finish up the season. Yeah. If you look at that lineup up and down, it just screams mediocre. It's like, when I keep on seeing the box scores and getting alerts about this team just sticking in the race, it kind of drives me crazy. I compared them to the Montreal Canadiens of last season a little bit in terms of nobody believes in them except for the actual players within the clubhouse. And that's what you're seeing. And I think at this point, you throw out all the stats. This team, it has 3 games left. Just win every single one and see what happens. Of course, they don't control their own destiny, but they're a half a game behind the Boston Red Sox and half a game up on the Blue Jays. So the Blue Jays are going to need to win, of course, and winning the last 4 would be great. 1 more against the Yankees today, Robbie Ray on the mound. And then the O's come into town for 3, but there's going to be a lot of scoreboard watching coming up here for sure.
Okay, Tom Ruminski. Blue Jays, Mariners, Red Sox, Yankees. What's the wild card matchup?
I actually believe that if the Blue Jays win today, that they are going to, at the very least, solidify a tiebreaker position. If the Yankees win, you got to believe that they're the number 1 seed and they're going to host the game at the Bronx. The Red Sox, everybody coming into this final week was saying, hey, they got 3 against the O's and 3 against the Nationals. But I don't think this is how baseball works. You can't just assume a team is going to go 6-0, especially on the road. And one that was struggling up until last night to really get their offense going. And then the Mariners, it's kind of crazy. They seem like a team of destiny. And I'm really starting to get that feeling. And like I said, I think it's about time that you got to just throw the stats out the window, and all these guys that are into advanced metrics and stuff are pulling their hair out, just looking at the M's doing what they're doing. Like I said, if the Blue Jays win today, I think that somehow they're going to be in the tiebreaker. but it wouldn't shock me. And a part of me kind of wants to see the Seattle Mariners go to New York to take on the Yankees. The Mariners, I don't believe they've been in the playoffs since like 2001.
Yeah.
So that would be quite the story. And of course, as a sports journalist, we're all about the narratives here. So that would be super intriguing.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard in this day and age. And this is something that, with the advent of transparency in salaries, that even with children who follow their favorite team, they know way too much about the money. They know way too much about salaries. They might even use the word term like it's gross. Like we know so much that it's hard sometimes to sit there, even watching a series like this, which is all the I mean, what else do you want? I mean, basically it's these are playoff games now. But so Semien hits a home run, or Robbie Ray's on the mound today, and I'm like, that's a shame. What do you mean? He's not staying. We can't keep him. We can't keep this guy. We can't keep that guy. And that's terrible. And that's part of the business that we have, is just sort of being a little ahead of the game and knowing who's staying, who's going. Is it hard to distinguish or differentiate between just enjoying the moment and knowing that moment might be the last time the band's together? Because I don't see how they keep all these guys, unless you can find a way somehow that they all get paid. But I don't see how that happens.
See, I think, Mike, there is actually a possibility that both of these guys might stay. Is it likely? Probably not. I mean, the value of Semien and Ray has continuously been going up. Throughout the season, I've been saying, hey, maybe Robbie Ray is going to get 80 million now. Maybe Robbie Ray is going to get 100 million. Maybe he's going to get 125. I see Robbie Ray getting 150 million over 6 years. This is only his age 29 campaign. He's going to win the Cy Young unless he gets absolutely nuked today by the Yankees. So I think most people would agree with that. And then Semien, I mean, he's going to end up as an AL MVP finalist for the second time in 3 years. He was looking for 100 mil coming into this season during the offseason, but he had a poor pandemic-shortened campaign, so the numbers just weren't there. But he's a stud, and the numbers definitely reflect that. And I think the window in terms of the Blue Jays being not only a playoff contender, but a World Series contender is just opening. And I think you're going to see for the next 5 years that the Jays, even though they're going to be losing some players, they're not going to be replacing them with guys that maybe we've seen in the past just on bargain deals. They're really going to be going out and trying to get high impact players. So they're going to make a run. They've reportedly tried to extend Semien throughout the season. I think he's going to be a little tougher. He's from the Bay Area in California. That's where he played with the Athletics for a really long time. There are going to be a ton of teams looking at Semien, just knowing that he brings the leadership, the bat, the defense. So I think Ray has a better chance of coming back to the Rays because he really turned his career around. Pete Walker helped him to be a ace that we're seeing this year, from a guy that had an ERA over 6 and was walking like 7 batters per 9 innings last year. But yeah, to basically sum it up, it would not surprise me at all to see one of those two guys stay. And I think there's a chance that maybe 2 could stay, because the Blue Jays really just have 2 big contracts on the books, and that's Spring and Ryu. Of course, eventually Bichette, Teoscar Hernandez, and Vladdy all need to get paid. But while those guys are still pre-arb and arbitration eligible, why not really send a message to the rest of baseball and say, hey, we think this team is a World Series contender for years to come, and let's keep them together.
Mike, this glass isn't half full. It's overflowing.
Oh,
right
it's
now.
I can I can
It's
see
like
it.
bubbling
Yeah.
out. Like
It's an endless glass of goodness.
That's right.
hey, you know what? I love what they did yesterday against Garrett Cole. That was the one that kind of scared me because you lost. If you're the Jays, you lost on that game, opening game, and then you thought, oh, geez, now it's Garrett Cole. They got to Cole, which was fantastic. Now you got a chance to really put the stamp on the series with a win with Robbie Ray. I think you're right. If Robbie Ray delivers, the Cy Young's his. If he doesn't, we're still in this conversation for the next couple of days. it's obviously all of these games are the biggest games of the year, but
Yes.
this might be the biggest of the big kind of thing.
They got a sweep though, right? Dave and I were talking about this earlier on. I don't think they can lose one of them. I don't think the way that this is
Well, you're
turning
talking
out.
about the O series too, yeah.
Yeah, the entire. I mean, what was that, four or 5 games, whatever it is left now.
Four
games left,
down to
yeah.
four. I don't see how you can lose a game, any of these games, and still be in it. It's because it's 100 meters, as Dave and I were saying beforehand. Like you're not making up ground. There's no make goods here. You lose, then you have to pray that there's a loss somewhere else, and that's a terrible way to end the season.
Definitely, and I think the Jays have to pray regardless because they're 1 game behind the Red Sox and they're 2 games behind the Yankees. But if they win today, they're going to be 1 game behind the Yankees, and the Yankees have to play the Tampa Bay Rays. And yes, the Rays have nothing on the line anymore. They've already won the AL East. They've already secured home field advantage through the ALDS and the ALCS, but they're a pesky team. It's just not the MO of the Rays to just lie down and just take one from a divisional opponent like the Yankees. Even if they rest a bunch of players, they still have so many quality players that they're going to go out there. It's just not as easy as saying, oh, that's a guaranteed sweep. There are no guaranteed wins, just like the Blue Jays aren't guaranteed to sweep the O's. So I think some crazy stuff is still going to happen. The race is only tightening. And I think that we could see just pure chaos at the very end. I'm talking like 3-way tiebreakers where, for example, if the Red Sox, Blue Jays, and Mariners all tie for the second wildcard spot, then the Blue Jays would have to go to Seattle because Seattle beat them during the regular season. They would have to beat them in a tiebreaker, or the Mariners would win. And the winner of that contest would go to Fenway then to play a tiebreaker, and the winner of that contest would then go to the Bronx to play the Yankees in the wildcard game. That's how it would potentially shake down. It's almost like, I don't know if you guys played Mortal Kombat, going to a convenience store like when you were young, and you
Johnny
had like
Cage,
you had
this
like
guy.
one quarter, and then every single time like you face like a boss, and then you went to Goro, and then you went to the next one. You're like, are you kidding me? This is like a boss eliminator fight like in succession every single time. So this is what could be on the horizon for the Blue Jays, just utter Mortal Kombat. So
is that
like
why before every game we should hear the word fight?
yes, flawless victory. So
And then when you get to the 7th inning, yeah, exactly. Finish him.
Finish him. That's the best.
you need to finish them, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, it's going to be it's great theater, and it's amazing in a league that has no salary cap, no salary certainty. How crazy the September, October baseball playoffs are nuts. It's always circus-like, and you would think that when teams are allowed to spend as much as they want, so you would just assume the teams that spend the most money win all the time, and it's not exciting. Well, if you watch any major league playoffs in the last like 20 years. It is a freak show. I don't know why. I don't think any other sport plays like this. But as you said, would you be surprised if there's a 3-way tie and all of a sudden there's all these extra play-in games? No, because it's baseball, and that's what happens. You really can't count on what you think is predictable. Otherwise, Garrett Cole goes on the mound yesterday, and the games he shuts the Blue Jays down. They win 3-0, and they go home. I mean, that's what a lot of people would have thought. But it's baseball. They get to them, then they get a lead, then they blow the lead. That's your baseball. So hang on, make sure you drink all your Polar Ice vodka drinks that we had on the other day, because I'm telling you, this is drinking time, and this is going to be great theater once again. Tom, thank you so much for joining us. Always great to see you, buddy. And look, I'm sure we will talk very soon, if probably not next week, as the Blue Jays hopefully get in this thing.
Yeah, I can't wait, guys. I got a good feeling. At the very least, enjoy the madness and the chaos. So
there it is. There's Tom Ruminski from theScore.